Welcome to the Rhode Island Wave Spotlight. I'm your host, Scott Nerney. We're here at the Queesit Inn, and I highly recommend everything on this menu. It was fantastic. It's Tuesday night. We're here with Stanley Freedman, a music teacher from our community, and I understand you wanted to talk to us a little bit about a friend, but let's talk a little bit about you and your background.
Well, I'm a Rhode Islander. I graduated classical high school, Brown University, and then University of Connecticut, all in music. And I've been teaching music all my life.
And what instruments do you play?
Well, my main instrument is the clarinet, but I play guitar and piano also.
Wow.
Had to learn the guitar when the Beatles came in.
I can imagine. And what years did you teach?
Yeah, I started teaching in 1962, and I taught till 1990.
Wow.
25 years at Hope High School, and it was great. Couldn't wait to get back the next day to make music with the kids.
Wow, one of my favorite subjects when I was a kid. We didn't have it every day in elementary school, but I really enjoyed showing the expression and how often the teacher would get excited when the kids did.
Yeah.
So, kudos to you. It's teaching a lot of folks the future. And I understand you had a close personal connection with someone in your school.
Yes, Antonio Dattorro was the art teacher when I got there. I got at Hope in '65, and he taught until 1979. So we overlapped 14 years, and they were great years.
What did he teach?
He taught art.
Okay.
And one year, of the 10 students accepted at RISD from the state, 4 of them came from his class.
Wow. And a lot of years it's 0, so 4 is a lot.
Yes, yeah.
Wow. And he taught art for quite a time. You overlapped quite a bit. You guys got to know each other quite well?
Yes. Tony was born in 1918 in North Providence. After the war, he earned 2 degrees at RISD, and he married Jenny Russo, had 2 sons, Anthony and John, both in music. He had an art studio downtown. One time he was with 1960 with Eugene Tarnoff, another artist from Rhode Island. And then he opened his own studio on Steeple Street, where he taught many people there.
In addition to the school?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. In 1977, he got permission from North Province to close the street, and he had called a polytrick, 300 feet of art connected, where one leads to the next, like that. And it was about his family, and it was about the social situations. It was quite a work. Yeah.
Wow. And you remember him from stories of a not so great past that he'd shared with you. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, he was he joined the Army in 1940, and he was painting the noses of the planes.
Oh, wow.
Even then. But in 1942, he was stationed on the island of Luzon in the Pacific, and he was in the province of Bataan. So, those not familiar with what the Bataan Death March was, Bataan fell to the Japanese in April 1942. Approximately 75,000 soldiers were forced to march 85 miles in 6 days. About 10,000 died on the march, and they were shipped to Japan, where he was a prisoner of war for 1,333 days. I can show you one painting that he did in reference to that. There are 2 ships in this painting. They were carrying prisoners from Luzon to Japan itself. Because the Americans didn't know that, and they started bombing those ships. There were 500 men, 300 got killed in that. In this, you can see there's the 2 atom bombs you draw there, and you can see the bombs falling. And this was quite a painting. It's 8 feet long. The others are about 4 feet long, but this one's 8 feet long.
And were those ships that he was on?
Fortunately, no. No.
Wow.
So we would talk in school. We'd talk about art and the similarity between some of the terms, like we discuss melody in music and lines in art. We discuss texture in music and texture in art, color in music, color in art. That was wonderful. He said a few things about his experiences as a prisoner of war. He didn't advertise this, but just personally. He had gotten bayoneted in his arm. He had a broken back. He used to grow garlic between the crops. Meanwhile, he would eat the garlic, and he says that's what helped keep him alive. Also, there was one Japanese guard who spoke Italian, because Anthony could speak Italian. He was Italian. So the guard said, "You got to leave him alone because he's not American, he's Italian." But he still got knocked around a bit, unfortunately. Yep. Let's see.
So a gentleman that goes off to the war and goes from a position of painting some of the airplanes, which did so much for the pilots and morale out there, to capture, to marching 85 miles, to go into Japan and dealing with being in a prisoner of war. It's an amazing story at that.
Yeah.
And I understand that he's chronicled a little bit of that time in some other paintings as well.
He's done about 25 drawings first. This was after he retired from teaching, 79, and he passed away in 2001. But during those years, he had his PTSD came out, and he did 25 drawings of his experiences, and he did 8 paintings of his experiences. Here's one that shows what the POWs looked like. Like when he went in, he weighed like 170 pounds. When he came out, he weighed 85 pounds. They had 1 bowl of rice a day. Right. Let's see. So I can tell you how we came to get these.
Sure.
Here's where the story gets really interesting. After he passed away, his son Anthony, who lives in Las Vegas, had the paintings stored in a building in West Warwick. There were like 500 places to store things there, and he had one. So for 20 years they were stored there. I get a call from Anthony. "Stanley, they're going to knock down all those stalls, get rid of everything, and build condos." It's in the paper the other day. Go and take anything you want, because the rest is going to be destroyed. So I call up my childhood friend Alan Carter and say, "We got to go take a look at these paintings," because I knew of Alan's connection with Antonio Dattorro also. So we get there, and they were too big for us to handle. So I go home, and I'm telling my companion about this. Her daughter, Ellie Malloy, had a friend who was a professor of painting at RISD. She tells him about it. The two of them take a ride out. It's too much for them to carry. He goes back to RISD. The next day, he takes a couple of grad students with a U-Haul. They go out there and they salvage these 8 paintings plus some other paintings together.
And these are all 8 paintings of his time as a POW and
Yes.
his reflections.
Let's see which one. Can I show you this one?
Yep.
This is the one that he had signed. And you can see the evil way that the POWs were treated.
Yeah.
He's told me some stories that I won't repeat.
Now, Line of Skulls tells a lot of the history there. So where are the 8 paintings now?
So the gentleman from RISD is named William Bill, he had the photographer from the RISD Museum take professional pictures of the 8. He then sent them to the New Mexico, it was the Bataan Museum, because about 1,800 soldiers from New Mexico were on that march. And then they changed it to the New Mexico Military Museum.
Okay.
So he sent copies of the paintings, and about months later, we got a message back that they would accept them.
Wow.
So these 8 paintings are now in the New Mexico Military Museum. And as Bill said, a lot of times painters paint all their lives, and then when they die, everything's thrown away. Well, Tony will live on for his legacy there.
For many generations.
We also did one other thing. We donated one of the other paintings to Hope High School, where I taught, as you know, and it'll be put up when the library is finished being redone. We'll put that up there. We've already delivered the painting to the principal there, and also a plaque and his picture and a little bit of information about him. That was quite a story to me.
That's a great dedication to your friend and a legacy that will live well past all of us.
He said, I decided I would do only paintings and drawings that couldn't be sold. Which he did.
Were you able to keep any of his drawings for yourself?
Yes.
Good for you.
I have some of them. I also have 2 watercolors that he did. One he gave me because I gave a lesson of music theory to his son. Over the period of a year, I'd send the assignments home with Tony. Son would do them, brought them back, I'd correct them. Didn't meet the kid for a whole year. He now has a doctorate in acoustics. The other son, Anthony, has played in Las Vegas for years, and now he books bands in Caesars and other places. Did very well.
So you're hoping to take a trip out to New Mexico to see the installation?
Well, that would be something. That would be something.
Yeah. Good. If you had a message for your friend Tony's family, what would it be?
I'd be very proud of the life that Anthony led, serving our country, serving the children of the state. And he was a good man. Rest in peace.
Stanley, this has been a fantastic conversation. I feel like I know a little bit more about your friend Tony and the legacy that he's brought to Hope High School, generations of kids that have come through there, the impact on RISD, the students there, and what's going on at the museum that really is going to be a focal point. And I can't say enough. I really thank you for bringing this story to us.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.